How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Just peachy.
Good to hear. I'm loving the new place. It's awesome.
Let's turn on the recorder. What was it?
I was just saying, I'm loving the new place.
Yeah, you were here in Spatial Ape when we
I was
back in the day.
back in the day.
Probably like less than a year ago, maybe a year.
I actually don't know. Holy cow, how long ago was that?
Olden times. PJ's having a work emergency, so he said he's going to try to record, but he may not be available.
All good. I get it. Oh, man, you got the trailer going and everything? Nice.
Yeah. Friend of ours at Tab Games hooked us up with a booth. We're kind of just to get it going. The Garage Collective, Cyril gave us the art booth. Yeah.
I love it.
So we probably won't be streaming to YouTube. Usually it's like the camera's really right there where Bender is. It's recording. But the PJ's stuff, he's the one that streams, so we might be missing that. So it's just gonna be us doing just audio recording. He'll cut it and splice it.
Yeah.
And then
It's kind of impressive how like expressive you can be with just like a ball and two pills.
that's what I've been saying. Even way back in Spatial Ape, we had a guy. PJ puts this part on here. I can't remember the game or the name. I keep favoriting the things on Twitter. Very anime-looking game. We had a Japanese dude making the game, and his translator friend of his, and the main dev didn't speak any English, so it was really weird. He just had that cube face. So in Spatial Ape, if you didn't set up a character, you were a white cube and pills, and just like this. And the other guy, it was like he was so animated. You ask him a question, the guy would translate it, and he'd be like, "Oh, like that." Like I don't even know which classic hand gesture it is. And he was just like, "Oh, yeah, high five!" It was so great.
That's incredible.
Busting on us about the pill hands. It's like, what more do you need?
What more do you need?
You just be like, reach out and touch someone.
It's the best fist bump you could ask for.
Right.
That's awesome.
We just get started. Is there anything you want to cover before we actually start? Or just jump right into it?
No, we just jump in. I'll try not to break any of the NDAs I've signed, I guess.
Yeah, that's the worst part, I'm sure. One thing before we start, when I'll do our little intro and apologize for PJ being MIA. And when I introduce myself, we always stumble at this. Well, PJ will be like, "I'm PJ," and I'll be like, "I'm Wookie." And even if I get PJ to, like, we agree that we're just going to point at the guest, which is you, and you introduce yourself, he'll introduce them right in the middle of their own. It's fun. It happens like crisscrossed every time. So I'm not going to do that, hopefully, unless I get the main host jitters. So I'll just be like, here's my name, and I'll just point at you, and you just belt it out, and that'll be our start. Cool?
Cool.
Let me get this out of the way quick. I think it's episode 130. So,
Right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to VR Verdict, episode 130. This is our weekly podcast. This is me, Wookie, talking instead of PJ usually. We talk about everything VR, and we try to bring the fun to you. So, obviously, I'm not PJ. I'm Wookie. PJ is having technical difficulties. Apologies for the lack of a YouTube stream. But we are here with myself, Wookie, no PJ, and
Garrett from Red Team 19 VR.
Right, making the crazy looking come so far, like the farthest progress I've ever seen in a game in like under a year. Last time we talked, I'm gonna go with under.
All right.
So what the hell? Last time we talked, you had like a cool model of a ship, and you're like, I just went on like Itch or something and said, "Hey, you guys want a pirate game?" And everyone's like, "Sure." And you're like, "Sweet, I'm gonna do this." And now, like, what the hell? You got Sea of Thieves in VR here? Like,
it has been a wild last year over here. So I mean, I don't even know where to start on this.
go into whatever you like. I'm sure last time we covered like how you got into games. We could do that again, old war stories. But it's like, pardon the French. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah. So okay, I'm trying to remember where we were at when we last talked. So I remember talking to you guys. What do you remember? I'm trying to think.
I just remember you had like, I think we had the Spatial Ape guys put a model of like, I think you had a pirate ship model.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
not much more. And you were like, this is what it's going to be. And you were just like, boom, pirate game. And I was all in. You had passion. I was like, I elevator pitch done. Where do I sign? But
exactly.
It didn't sound like you had like, I think there was a really weird bug where you, one of those funny things where you like push something in and your boat goes backwards like 100 miles an hour. Like,
oh my gosh. It was way back then? Okay, holy cow. Yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah, you were like, I did this. It was working great. I let down the sail and my boat went in reverse, but it's fine. It was like, all right.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, man, lots has happened since then. So, where do we start? So I think it must have been like right after I talked to you guys that I actually got like some of my rich friends to invest in making the game. So, like that happened. That PJ? Ghost of PJ passed?
Ghost of PJ. See if he's able to make it. 1 second. I think he doesn't know, like, he's probably trying to record on the desktop, and his PC mic is picking it up while he's handling
picking up everything else.
So we'll just ride right over that. He can cut that little part out.
Okay.
So, rich friends, and lucky to have those.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we put together a little bit of money, and I was able to use that money to contract a team of super talented developers and artists to get us to like where we're at right now, right? So that was just like the most insane thing, you know. So we just like
having some help was like, there's no way one dude can do that.
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't just me. No, yeah, like we found a really talented team to get to where this is at right now. And I got to work alongside him, which was like huge for me because I got to learn, you know, just like tons about development and art and just like, you know, working with people who've actually worked on games before, right? Like that just was just like absolutely eye-opening and like really helpful for like the long-term goal of all this, you know. So like, yeah, like it's been a wild ride since we last talked. Holy cow. It's only getting crazier.
Yeah, I mean, like, how long did it take to put that team together once you had a little bit of your extra funding? Was just like,
oh my gosh.
Boom.
It was a bit of a nightmare. So the way that I found this company is I actually worked for them in college doing like a machine learning project inside of Unity. And after talking to my rich friends, they're kind of like, okay, like, what do you need to make this game happen, you know? And I was like, let me go talk to this one company that I know that knows how to do this kind of stuff. So I went to that company I worked for and I said, hey, here's the project. It's my game. Like, I want to take it to this level. What's that going to cost? And they're like, they threw out a number and I was like, okay, I'll be back. You know, I went back and talked to my rich friends. I was like, here's their number and here's what I need to stay alive for like a year. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And so I went back to the company. I was like, okay, we have the money. Let's do it. And so, yeah, that's how we got that whole going.
I probably can't ask, but I'm curious what that number would be. Because, like, damn. But
I
that's good.
I mean,
Probably, yeah, no.
yeah, I don't know. I'll just keep that a secret so people think I have more money than I do.
$8 million.
No, but yeah, like so they helped us, but like that company was super super small. Like when I started with them, they had 3 employees. But working alongside them, we were able to bring in their company's up to like 18 employees, like full-time employees now, which is like super super
Just-
cool.
Just from your game?
Yeah, well, so like they use my game to like show other people like, hey, here's what we're capable of. Like we can build all this cool stuff in the metaverse, you know. And they brought in lots and lots of like clients because they mostly do like marketing. They're just barely starting to get into more of like games. They're actually making their own
Content?
game. Yeah, they just barely started their own. And yeah, so like they were able to like kind of use like this cool project that they're working on to basically say like, hey, we are super capable of doing cool stuff. And everyone was like, yeah, you are. Like, here, take my money, you know. And so they've been growing, which has
Nice.
been fantastic. We have like a really good partnership going for like continued support on sale. And yeah, like just really, really cool to like help them out. And they've been helping me out. It's just it's good goes around, comes around type thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how do we all get rich friends? I mean, that's
uh know how to kiss butt, I guess. I don't know.
what I mean, like it shows it's a smaller dev title, so it doesn't have like all of the power. I'm just going to compare it to Sea of Thieves because it's close.
Yeah.
But it looks way more fun because Sea of Thieves, like I can play it for a night with, friends and relatives, but eh. But the combat, you've got like humans and not just skeletons, and it looks like it's actually way more fun to do because the combat. I've been playing an Xbox controller since they came out with the Duke. But like the combat in Sea of Thieves is like that's pretty bad. Like there's times when I
It's
can
very basic.
rail a few people and like take their boat and ram it into a rock and laugh. I got a whole 3-minute clip of that. But then sometimes it's like, can't hit. It's awful. But in VR, I guess that might go away. But like just the little dudes running around swinging swords, it's like that looks so much more engaging.
Yeah, it's something else. The problem is though is like, I mean, everyone is like, I swear I get this feedback once a week. They're like, make it like Blade and Sorcery, which people don't realize how absolutely insane like Blade and Sorcery combat is. And like just like the amount of time and programming they've put into making Blade and Sorcery just what it is. And so it's like
that's probably where they made the combat and built a game around it or something. That's a little harder to
exactly
do.
like they are so focused on the combat that like that's their entire game. And it's like, yeah, we can add in like right now we don't have blocking, which is a planned feature. Like it's gonna come, we're gonna get there. But like it's like, okay, like it's not gonna be like Blade and Sorcery where you're like, it's so physics based and whatnot. But I don't know. It's it's cool because like we're in like a really good spot right now. It looks amazing. It actually feels really good. We actually just added custom pirate hands in an update that we pushed on Monday. So like you have these super cool hands with like jewels and stuff on them. Like
I
it's just
voted
awesome.
on those in the Discord.
Oh, you saw them? Yes.
I voted the gloves, the fingerless gloves. I was like, oh, I like those.
Yeah, those are in there now. They're in the
Nice.
game now. They're so cool. Like it's just little stuff like that is going just like absolutely bananas. And like, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at right now is we're just like polishing things up, getting it all ready. And we're trying to find like a partnership or like a publisher to work with to bring it to the next level, which is to get the number one thing that everyone is asking for, multiplayer.
Yeah. That's honestly, I own the game or whatever. I think I bought the thing, whatever I got. And it's hard. I just haven't installed it because I'm like, I'm gonna play the crap out of it, and I get burnout with like betas. Like I'm like, ooh, let me in the beta, like the Division games. Like let me in the beta, play the crap out of it, and then kind of like I've already done all this, So I've been trying to wait because I figured that was coming, but like it's been really hard. Like I watch PJ's stream videos, like I don't even skip through them. I don't get to the I'm just like, whoa, and there's my 30 minutes. Like it's whoa.
No, it's crazy to watch people play it because like everyone plays differently, and that's what I wanted when I built this game. Is like I wanted it to be a sandbox. It's an adventure sandbox, right? Like you get to choose like what your missions are and what you're gonna go do. And it's crazy. Like some people love the naval combat and will just go hunt down boats for hours, you know. And then there's some people who love treasure hunting and they'll go do all the treasure quests and stuff. And just like it's so fun to see that we've been able to build something that there's something for everyone. I really feel like there is. Like that's pretty cool. So
That is cool. How much of a sandbox is it? Like, do you need the quest, or can you just like go?
yeah, you can just go. There's random stuff placed throughout the map as soon as you jump in. Random treasure hunts, random enemies and stuff. Like you could just go. You don't have to grab a map or anything. You could just sail off and like go explore. And like you don't need to go to the port to get like the quests and whatnot. You can just go away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing from other pirate games. Like, you know, just like the adventure. Like all of the old like Sid Meier's Pirates, the top down. I used to play the look out of that. It's pirates. But it's, you know, it's
Exactly.
closed in and it's charming and it's cute and you're sailing around. And there's like, you know, the Sea of Thieves game, but it's like there's not much to do. They keep adding a few things, but like the last time we played more than a day in a row, it's like cracking every 5 minutes. Like, oh god, I'm sick of
Exactly.
this. But like, how do you keep scope creep going down? Since you're like, you know, I'm talking to the lead designer of the game, basically, right? Like your baby. Like, how do you not put it all in there right away?
I mean, it's been nice to like to be back on my own. So like I contracted that company, right? And they got to the point where they could get to, and then they handed it back over to me, right? So like I'm back on my own, and so much of my time right now is spent in business meetings, talking with different, you know, publishers and companies and everything like that, that it's actually like really rare that I get to jump into the code and, you know, actually just have that fun figuring out the code stuff part. And so that's really been helping because I'm like, okay, I really got to prioritize what I absolutely want because that's all I'm going to have time to put into the game, you know?
Right.
So like that's helping. But with it being a sandbox, like I can kind of let scope creep in because I want this to be a game that's not just like release and done. I want it to be alive for a really long time, and we can keep adding in new stuff, and people are just going to eat it up, right? But yeah, like it is hard because there are some things that we can't do for sure and shouldn't. But yeah, so the scope creep is just time management at this point.
Right. Yeah. I guess, yeah, it does make sense. The more you can the more fun and engaging surprises you pack in the open world, I guess the better.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Story modes and stuff. Any plans for like that, or is that? I mean, that's a lot of work. Defeating the purpose.
So one of my favorite games of all time is Call of Duty Zombies, right? Like
You
the
and I
Nazi
would hate
zombie
to play games together. Just kidding.
I can respect that. But one of the things that I loved about all of the Call of Duty zombie maps throughout their entirety is, well, okay, not their entirety, but while they were good, like, so the primary objective in all those games is survive, right? Like kill zombies, survive as long as you can. That's your primary objective. But in the background of all those games, there are these Easter eggs that reveal this hidden lore of this whole universe that's going on. And never once did the company say like, you have to do this until, and obviously when they were good, right? They never like told you have to do these storylines, you know? It was like a fun thing that you did because it was like, I'm so good at the game now that I want to explore more. And here's this Easter egg to like
living and making it through. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So that's the way I would approach story mode in my game. Is like your primary objective is to be a pirate, go have fun, and be all the piratey things. But then I'm planning on hiding the lore of the game and the storyline that I'm trying to push out there, like in the background for you to find if you're bored of the rest of it. Does that make sense?
Totally, because that's, you know, if I had the same thing, it's kind of like story games for me are 50-50. You get The Witcher 3, and then you have everything else. Couldn't stop playing The Witcher 3 and like did like every quest on the map. And then you go to Skyrim. I've started Skyrim probably 8 million times. I've never made it halfway through the story. and they're both just as fun to me as you can be. So yeah, it's like
Exactly.
I respect that.
Yeah.
And then there's, as much as I love No Man's Sky, there's a weird way not to do it when it's just like random crap strewn about, and it's like weird, confusing. Like, I'm gonna speak gibberish at you, and you're gonna go to the center of the galaxy, and it's like, shut up. Like, nobody's gonna do one. And maybe, no, I'm sorry, a lot of people probably do, but it's, for me, it's kind of like, no, I'm gonna go shoot asteroids instead.
Exactly. Like I don't that like that's kind of why I keep saying like it's a sandbox, because I don't want to force anyone down a path, you know? Like I want to
Right.
give them options and let them create their own adventures as they go have fun and whatnot, you know? So
And yeah, if you have I don't know if there's a loop to your gameplay, but everyone's like, ooh, gameplay loop and stuff. As long as the gameplay loop is fun, what else do you need, you know?
exactly.
I can play Grand Theft Auto for like 3 hours straight, and I can play some
Oh,
other games
easy.
for like 4 minutes and be like, "Mm-mm-mm." But I'm doing the
Yeah.
same thing over and over in Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. No, it's hard because like you really do like with the gameplay loop. Like you know, our gameplay loop is pretty simple: go out, find treasure, bring it back. Right? Pretty simple,
Get drunk
but
at
like you have to
the
add.
bar.
What's that?
Get drunk at the bar like a pirate.
There you go. And so, but like what we found is that people like they love doing the same thing, but with like little twists, right?
Mhm.
So like we've been working on like making it so that like okay, like if you get the quest, like maybe the first step will be that you need to go hunt down a captain who has the key. Like sometimes that will be the first step, or like we're this is like what we're working on, right? So like maybe that'll be the first step, or maybe your first step will be like you have the location of like a treasure chest, and inside that chest is the key, and then you have to go find the actual treasure chest. But to find that, you have to go hunt down, like you have to go decipher a map or something like that. Like we're trying to work on making it so it's more random, so you don't have the same exact experience every time, but it's like similar. And like that's tricky. But like that's the kind of stuff like you're saying that makes it so people just keep coming and playing over and over and over
Right.
again, because
It's
that's
like,
what's fun, you know?
I get you, because I'm the guy like, when our friend groups would still play more games back in the day, I'm the guy that would like play for like all week, every day, practicing, getting better, figuring stuff out. So when everyone else who didn't have as much time as me at the time, like, yeah, and I would do that same thing with like the twist, like you said, is if you have the fun part of that, you just make it fun, like a racing game. You're just trying to get better at the lap, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, so it'll be cool to see next year when we're on the podcast to see where we're at.
We'll book that right now. Your
Let's do
yearly
it.
check-in.
Every year, October, we're checking in, see where we're at.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking great. If you do get around to adding multiplayer, we can do a recording of the three of us.
Oh
or
yeah,
whoever.
we will
in
just
that,
go
if
on the
that's
ship.
people.
It'll be
Yeah,
fantastic.
and then you can stuff me in a cannon, even if it doesn't work. I'll get shot out. Bury
There
me
you
in the
go.
sand, whatever you got to do. But like one of the epic clips of this, the short trailer, which we'll have all links to everything and have this trailer on the show notes. Everybody listening, but like there's a part where just combat in like a little market, and it looks like somebody just blasts some guy in the face with a pistol, and just like a little death animation and coins flat. I mean, it's so like, since I was in the beta of Sea of Thieves and all the way through today, none of any sword swinging combat, video or being in it, makes me want to come back for more. But that one little shot of that part is like, I need more of that.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so
we
much
definitely
fun.
went crazy on the gold and stuff, like so that people just love having that fight. Like there's just something about like killing someone and just gold spraying out and just bouncing
Yeah, like
around. It's beautiful.
Bungie games, Destiny and Halo, like you
Yeah,
got that, like it feels so good to get that headshot, like the noise and the feel of it, and you have it with the gold coin just spraying out of their wallet or whatever. The coin burst.
exactly. No, it
Great.
works really well, and it's like it's like it's got a psychological thing, right? Because
Mhm.
It's just amazing. Everyone just loves it.
We're rats. It's a cheese and the maze, and we're rats. It works.
That's all we need.
Um,
No, I lost one of my pills. What though?
oh no, your controller
Mommy.
battery shut off. Something.
No, but it'll let me mute myself. Maybe my controller did die. I can be half of
no.
expressive.
I keep doing that. Like I get out of the camera range of the Quest. Yeah.
No, it just died on me. Bummer. I should have checked that before. My bad.
People listening, you can't see what we're doing, but it sounds like what it is. We're just waving our hands, trying to get them to disappear.
Just
Welcome back. Come back.
you're not missing much. We're just playing with pills in here.
Footsie. Now that the metaverse has feet, officially legs, you can play footsie. Yay.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we want to do with Mark's feet.
Yay. For $1,500 or whatever. Sorry. You can have your own feet. So
Oh,
yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm probably gushing at this point. I honestly, when PJ started like, oh, hey, look at how far the game's come, and then I joined the Discord, and I was like, I think I even did it with my head going forward back, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what? And then, voting on the hands, I'm like, this is going all the way. So, like, it's cool that you're on your own, but like, how many business meetings do you have a week? Like, that just sounds like, oh, damn it. Maybe it's a good thing, like you said. But,
well, it's if one of these deals, I'll just say this, like if one of these deals works out, it's going to be really good for like the future of sale. Like it won't be just me for much longer if one of these pans out the way that we're hoping. So
good luck and safe contract negotiation. There's got to be some sort of pirate talk for that. Navigation.
Don't screw me over.
Yeah. Keep your fingers out of me, Doge.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it does suck that I'm on my own, like right now a little bit, but like I love just like getting in there and developing it and knowing like it's cool to me that like I know how everything works in the game, like
Right.
having my hands in everything. It's super useful, especially when I jump into like having a big team, because I can jump in and explain to anyone like, oh, here's how this system works, just so you know, and it makes things a lot faster.
I was gonna ask,
And
like, how did that work with the contract team? Like, in you being a part of all the objects or all the functions, all the features.
it was like it was definitely a learning curve. We initially hired out this team of like really good, quote unquote good, like their resumes of Unity development experience was like amazing. And so we hired this little team, and we were like working with them, but they were like too smart to get anything done is the best way I can describe it.
Oh no.
They over engineered just everything. And finally we found this guy who he developed games back in college, and then he's just kind of been doing it on the side. And we found him and we were like, dude, it's been 3 months. We've been working with this team and we haven't gotten anywhere. Like, can you just come in and start prototyping stuff for us? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so that guy came in, and in like a week, we got farther than we had gotten with this professional quote unquote team in like 3 months. So we fired that whole team, brought in him, and brought in like another guy that he recommended or that we found who could do like the same amount of stuff he did. And just like in the next 3 months, like we got to where we are right now. Like just like, hey, I worked super well with them. And like the nice part about that is like I could jump in the code with them, just kind of like how I was saying, like I knew enough about the systems and stuff. I could jump in and be like, hey, here's what I want this to do. I see how you're doing it, blah, blah, blah. I feel like we ended up being a pretty good team.
Nice.
But yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how we do the second phase with multiplayer, because like he obviously got hired with the company that I helped build up, and they're making their own games and stuff now, which is like I'm totally cool with that. I've been helping them out with like some of their marketing and whatnot, but like I'm probably gonna have to put together another team, you know. And so I'm like, oh great, like hopefully I don't make the same mistakes I did last time, but hopefully it'll be good. We'll see.
Been fortunate so far, so I think you're good at it. Should work.
Yeah. And the nice thing, again, like with knowing all the code and stuff, like I can tell pretty fast who's competent and who's not. And so that's like a good skill to have because I can pretty much be like, yeah, you're not really getting us where we're trying to go. So bye-bye.
Yeah.
So
hard conversations, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like this is a big game. It's turning into a big game. Like the people we're talking to are not small companies. These are the big players in this space, and they want this game. They want it on their platform. They want their players playing it. And so
That's
like
awesome,
it's turning into like, I mean, I had someone in a meeting. I don't know if I can share that because I signed an NDA. but like people believe in this, you know, like just even we're in early access and like there's still bugs. There's a lot of polishing to do, but like people are so excited about this, which just makes me excited, which just makes me like, let's freaking do this. And, you know, people see that and they want to latch onto that and they want this game. Like people want an open world pirate game on the Quest store and stuff, you know? So like, we're going to get it there. We're gotta make it happen.
Any chance of not getting seasick while getting VR stick?
So that's funny that you say that because another thing on the daily I get asked is, hey, put in waves, which there are waves on the Steam version. If you go download the Steam version, there are some waves, but the ship doesn't react to the waves as you would expect it to in real life because we tested it. And it makes you beyond seasick because it takes seasickness, adds it with VR sickness, and just multiplies it to the moon. Like I don't get like VR sick anymore, but getting in a wave simulation was a vomit simulator. It's not worth it. It's just not okay.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm like, everyone's gonna want that, but I would have been the first one to be like, let's do like the dirty, quick version and make them sick, and then they'll shut up about it.
That's what I keep saying. People keep saying like, "Oh, hey, just add it as an option." And it's like, okay, one of these days I'll get around to adding it as an option, so you guys all can see that I was telling you the truth. You know,
extra no refund for that account. You asked for it.
Oh. Don't come crying to me when you got vomit in your headset. It's not my fault. I tried to warn you.
Yeah. Make sure you wear like a plastic bag. You go to Walmart, buy a stick of gum, grab a bag.
Yeah, so like it's funny. It's interesting to see like the features because I really do pay attention to like everything everyone's suggesting. And we've got this whole long thread going on my Discord of like all the features people want because like I do actually want to try to add in things that everyone wants, you know.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
But it is interesting. There are like a few features where it's like I have to say no for like just knowing better, just trying to protect people.
Yeah. So some people want what they don't know they don't want.
Right, but I don't know. Like obviously like the biggest feature requested is multiplayer, and like that's kind of like what I've been pitching to all these companies I'm talking to is like, look, I've got this many reviews and downloads as a single player game. Imagine if you can jump in here with your friends, you know? So like that feature is for sure going to happen. Like I can almost 100% guarantee it. And if nothing else, like I made a goal with our community. I said, hey, if we get to 5,000 downloads, I will prototype and start making multiplayer myself because that would be more than enough money to keep me and my family alive for the next year. So that's kind of like the plan. Is like if all else fails with these people I'm talking to, like I'll just do it myself. That's kind of how I am, right? But hopefully we can speed up production by getting one of these partnerships worked out.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's got to have multi.
It's got to. It just has to. It's gonna be. I'm so excited for the day I can throw my headset and just have another person on my boat. And I'm trying to come up with like the perfect pirate saying to like say that first time over voice chat, you know?
PJ is
what you want.
Feel wind blowing in from the whatever direction that is. North for me.
Hey guys.
I forgot
What's
you were
going
over there so
on?
long. I saw you scoot around, but then I was kind of like, I need to introduce PJ, and then I kept having and I forgot.
I just came to ask one question. Are you fucking hiring? Because I'm done with my job.
Not yet, but maybe soon.
Continue. I don't want to interrupt.
It's fun. We're having fun here. Good. We can't say it all over again to get you caught
No,
up
no,
to
no, no.
speed, but
I'll just jump in when I know where we're at.
he's got multiplayer working. The game is now free to play, massively multiplayer. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
None of that. That's a joke. That's a joke. I just peed a little. No,
Yeah,
shut up.
Sit over here.
Someday,
me,
hopefully
but-
someday.
It's Garrett. But yeah, this thing looks incredible. Got the big companies on the line. That's just like the best spot to be in. We've got a few other dev friends that are kind of like in a situation like that, PSVR 2 and stuff, one knocking on their door.
That's so cool.
Hopefully that all just goes well for you.
Yeah, no, it's really a cool time to be in like the VR space because like I don't know if you guys watched Connect, but Zuckerberg and Boz, they started spouting off some of like the statistics and stuff, and like they did that on purpose to like kind of ping the VC funds and whatnot to be like, hey, pay attention to this, please. Like there is money here, the Connect felt very business oriented and like with good reason. Like VCs are trying to like get themselves into like these kind of places, but like for like the devs that you guys have probably been talking to, like the people who've kind of been established for the last couple of years, like we're starting to really see like the interest and like hopefully like the money and stuff to start making just like really cool stuff happen. And the best part about it is like it's going to be made by the people who have just done and lived and loved VR from the beginning, which is just
Yeah,
going to make
and-
it such a higher quality.
I'm so hoping that's how it goes because so many of the people we talk to, like they've been pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into their work, and just VR being a niche and small and all that, just like taking chances and putting their lives like savings on the line and all that stuff. Like, and I really hope to see that pay off and they all get rewarded because they're also goddamn creative like yourself. And like it's been hard to watch sometimes where it's like, yeah, I haven't sold any copies, but I'm having fun. It's like, ow. Like, so I really hope it pays off because that'll be great.
Like just without like disclosing anything, like there's some big moves happening and hopefully it trickles down to like the indie people. And like it's going to start going crazy and it's going to be more mainstream. Like it's not really a niche anymore. Like we outsold Xbox last Christmas, like we're not,
True, yeah.
we're getting big. And there was a couple of key announcements that Meta made in that Connect that I think are going to just like keep going. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to see where things go, obviously. But
yeah. I was talking over the last couple of years when VR has been the niche and all that, but I agree. Like obviously it's getting bigger, which is awesome. So, but
yeah.
to your game, like I've played a lot of the latest. Not I wouldn't say build, but like since you've added all these updates and everything, and I haven't played it for a long time because you're on the show a year ago. And I
About a
hopped
year,
in
yeah.
like 3 months ago and I was just blown away like, holy shit. This is looking and playing well. And I had a blast. But like I heard you guys when I came in, you're saying, I want log in, put the headset on, have someone on my boat with me. And I agree. But just as is, like right now, I'm shocked. Like, because we play Sea of Thieves, I'm sure you guys have talked about. And love it. Not a lot going on in that game, but it's so fun and gorgeous. And I think you're damn close. And that's really exciting to me because I think you
Might have
probably
been
have a
gushing
little
like
more
that for
creative.
like
Yeah,
20 minutes.
Yeah.
I figured.
No, it's interesting. Like, I feel like it's like because Sea of Thieves is amazing. Like, you can't go wrong with Sea of Thieves. It's just an absolutely incredible game. But it's been interesting because people have started to like compare us to Sea of Thieves, which is like a huge compliment, but it's also kind of like a huge like expectations
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But it's nice too because one of the things we do, or one of the things that I do to like come up with ideas is I'll go scroll through Reddit and like YouTube and find the videos and stuff where people are like, this needs to change in Sea of Thieves, or like, I wish this was in Sea of Thieves, or like, here's why Sea of Thieves is a dumb game. And I go and watch those and read through those to like try to come up with ideas of like, oh, like, you know, we could totally add that, no problem. Like, and
It's
obviously
just it's a
there's
question you're going to hit later, probably.
Yeah.
exactly. So like it's a good way to like try to like differentiate ourselves from them by kind of learning from them. But then obviously like we want to try to hit all the good stuff that they did too, you know. So it'll be interesting to see like where we get to and what people compare us to like once we have multiplayer and stuff in. So we'll just have to keep trying and see what happens.
One thing you shouldn't put in is that character creator, because it would be like when I created
Oh,
that, it was like
gosh.
an 8-hour session. It's like I'll sit in character creators for days and to sit there and like, you know, you pick a couple hopefuls, but when you like deselected them, they had like a heartbroken look on their face and then they disappear forever. It was killing me.
I literally have the text still from when he started doing that. He's like, I made this cool character, and then I killed them, and I feel bad. And it was like hours of that. I'm like, dude, just pick one.
People obsess over weird things. I just like, yeah, and they have so much personality in that game. The one I made now is like fucking hilarious, but like there are so many like, holy crap, that one looks cool, and now I have to kill them. It wasn't just like you hit randomize on some of them and you just get random stuff. It was like they come in and they're like smiling, like, oh, it's my chance to shine, and it's like, no, you're getting meat grinded into oblivion, and it's just like shit that hurt for like 8 hours. I'm not even exaggerating. It was like a whole
No.
Saturday or some shit. It was like all day. I'm like, I'll see you guys in a minute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, can we just play the goddamn game? No.
I got to remake if I don't
And-
choose the one I don't like.
To Wookie's point, his character, I don't know, it was the first day we named him Benson, and that's like we play with my our nephew, and like that's all we refer to him as. It's never Wookie, it's Benson, and like we hadn't played for 6 months. I'm like, I miss Benson.
I craft it in my own way, but I found the perfect one, and it was
There you go.
worth 4,000 souls.
Well,
Plus doing business. But yeah, don't put that in there.
yeah, well, I don't think customization is going to be quite like that. Character customization is a thing that'll happen, but I don't think it'll be that soul destroying. Hopefully,
Because of the 4 times a year I actually see my character when I sit down and you can spin the camera around, it's not worth a whole Saturday.
oh,
Maybe.
time well
Yeah.
spent. Time well spent.
So have you talked about it all? You know, having the game on Quest and PC VR and that stuff yet, or?
No, like, what do you want to know?
I just like it's, you know, games coming out that are running on the Quest and looking and running as well as they do are starting to boggle my mind. And yours is like there isn't. I mean, obviously there's differences, but you know, if someone wasn't really paying attention, they may not notice, and that's kind of amazing to me. So, like, how much of a struggle has that been to get what you want on there?
So that was actually one of the things like I went into making this game. Like I had that in mind kind of from the beginning. And so I specifically chose like back-end technologies that would allow me to switch very easily from like Steam to like Oculus to Pico to like Pimax and stuff. Like I very specifically wanted to make sure that I would have a chance with as many platforms as possible. So I built it in from the beginning, and Unity like has made it also just like super easy as well. So like for anyone who's trying to make a game, just make it in Unity. It's just
Dude, I hear with our group of roundtable devs, that's the biggest argument: Unity versus the other one, whatever it's called.
Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I always chuckle when people say go Unity because
They're both fine.
yeah.
I play with both. I build this stuff, and it's not done or super great or anything, but it's like they're both fine. Why do we gotta argue?
pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like
It's more of a comfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I know Unity best, so like obviously like I'm a Unity person. Most of like the bigger studios use Unreal because of like what they can tap into graphics wise. But like for me, where I'm more worried about like optimization and like having my fingers in everything, like Unity is just my way to go. But I'm like with you guys. I think there's pros and cons to each. Just use what you're comfortable with and make cool crap and stop arguing about it, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm. Like we don't need console wars. We don't need all that PC magic race. Just games, fun.
Yeah, cool stuff is
Yeah.
coming out of both engines. Like I don't think one is supposed to like be better than the other. They have their use cases. Just use it for what it's used for.
I'm following
But
a
yeah.
guy on Twitter now. Peter's probably seen me like a billion of his posts, but he's been working on something for like 4 years where like buildings are being destroyed, like, and he's populating all this stuff, like an entire Manhattan-sized city gets sucked into a black hole that looks like it's from that Interstellar movie. Like, what the hell? It like turns it into sand, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like a survival game where like their whole city gets sucked into the black hole while you're playing it. And it turns into like Mad Max. I'm like, the hell? Like, maybe that don't be better than Unreal. Maybe. But
Dude, there's some stupid smart people using Unity and Unreal. Like I don't want to discredit anyone, but I swear I feel so dumb whenever I get on the internet and see what everyone else is capable of. But then people are like, "You do such cool stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
but look what this guy's doing."
Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
other
but
guy's
that's
really
really
character creator for 8 hours, not doing any of that.
Then there's the character creator. Yep.
But that's super smart how you kept that in the back of your mind and kind of planned for it and went that route, because flexibility, man. Like no one knew the Quest was coming until it came, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, now we got to do that." And it's like, got to shift and be flexible. And
Well, and the thing, like one thing I feel like a lot of indies are making the mistake of is like, yes, Quest is where the most users are right now, but like there are a lot of big companies who are trying to come in and compete with them, who are willing to like throw down cash to like help you out. And so like being flexible like that is like huge as far as like business goes too, you know?
yeah,
So like
And-
if you're just developing for Oculus, you are at the mercy of Oculus. And like I had a meeting with the people that you're supposed to talk to like supposedly get in the line for getting on the store. And like they're brutal. Like they were so brutal with us. I was just like, oh man, like no wonder no indie thing ever makes it on the official store. Like you just like these guys are just savage, you know?
yeah.
So-
That's, and as I'm a PC VR person, like I love Quest, and I'm a pros and cons person for everything. So I love Quest for what it is, but I love PC VR, and I like devs like you that are still supporting both cross-play and just having the game on it. Like I 100% thank you, and I'm grateful because there's so many reasons to be flexible, not just for sales, but just for like building communities and like all that stuff with the cross-play, and just having options is the best. So I love when you guys do that kind of thing and support it. It just makes everything that much better.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people are like, oh, PC VR is dead, but it's not. It's like the most passionate VR players are on PC, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you
filthy casual.
yeah, freaking casuals. But no, like it's true. Like I've noticed that like the people on Steam that like that I've interacted with and played with, like they're the ones that are usually like the most hyped about the game. And like the game looks like the thing that sold me on making sure I ported to every platform is when I first jumped into our Steam build, which allowed us to like render everything in its full resolution to have like a little bit more depth and everything. Like the game is beautiful in
Yes.
PC VR. Like I was blown away. Like I jumped in and was like almost in tears because I thought it was so pretty. Like I didn't realize the dreary world I was living in inside the Quest 2. You know?
Are you like, holy fuck, I built this? Like,
I was like, what? This is my game? What?
I loaded
Yeah,
the wrong
dude.
thing. Let me check.
This can't be right. This can't be right. No, it is crazy to like get on YouTube and see people like playing my game. Like we had a guy with like 2 million subscribers play the game, and I was just like, "That's my game? Like you're playing my game? Like what? It's nuts." Oh, did not think I would be here a year ago.
Well deserved. That's just sounds like you're a creature of focus.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm
really
in
sucks
focus.
that the assets we weren't able to bring them in because we still had them from the last year, and I wanted to kind of put them side by side and show,
Oh, that'd
just
have been
that
cool.
difference. But maybe when Wookie and I do an episode just us or on our own, or if you want to come back, we can do that. But like, I thought that'd be really neat. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to be. When you mentioned that, I've never thought of it that way. Like, because right now focuses on Quest, so you obviously start there with the game. I never thought about the time as a dev when you step into the PC version of the first time, and it's gotta, like you mentioned, like it's gotta be like, holy crap.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we spend, like for me at least, like we spent so much time optimizing, so we could pass Oculus's test that they make you go through to get onto App Lab, right? And so it wasn't until after we had been approved to App Lab that I was able to be like, okay, like I'm gonna go see if I'm gonna go test my previous theory that I can port over to other platforms really easily. And so I did that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing, you know? So like just like having spent so much time trying to optimize the game and whatnot, you kind of forget about like just the sheer power of a freaking PC. And so yeah, it was a cool experience. But I definitely plan on supporting it forevermore now. Like Steam is always gonna have sale. So PC gamers, you're welcome.
I thank you.
On behalf of the entire master race.
Well, I don't know if I speak for anyone but myself, but no, sure.
Or should you?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if in this video here, if you capture it, but the main island has a really high point on it.
Hmm.
And I remember I was going to message you, but I climbed all the way up there. And then I don't remember if I almost stepped on my cat or something happened, and I just like caught the ledge, and I thought I was going to fall, and I didn't. And then after I'm like, whew, that was close. And then I fucking fell through. And then I caught a ledge like halfway down. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I had just got a bunch of gold and stuff, and I hadn't made it back to my hideout. And then I'm like, okay, I'm at a good height. I'm going to jump onto that ledge and get out of here. And I jumped, and I totally missed it, and I died. Like I had 3 chances. I was so pissed. I'm like, I'm done for the night. I'll come back tomorrow. But that I don't know if it's in the video, but that's so freaking high up, man.
Yeah, I must have something with heights because I don't know if you remember way back in the pre-alpha days, we had this giant. Oh, that thing, right? Oh, it just barely flashed on the screen. But it's the shipwreck, right? Like you went all the way to the top of the shipwreck, and then the top of that little cliff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, way back in the old days, I had this giant cliff that I made everyone climb up, but they wanted to complete like the Easter egg, and people hated me for it. But
Yeah.
like,
I remember swearing and calling you names.
but like climbing is like one of those things that is so satisfying in VR, and with
Yeah.
the open world, it's also fun to like look out and see like all the possible places you can go and explore. Like
Right.
that's one of the things I love to do in Sea of Thieves is when you get on those islands with like bigger cliffs, you get up on top and you can like see the freaking pretty ocean and like islands in the distance. Like I wanted to replicate that in our game too, you know, to like give you this sense of like I can go anywhere, I can explore, I can, you know, this sea is my biatch if I want it to be, right? So
To
like,
that point, do you have any plans where I can load Benson here into a cannon and shoot him?
just trail barf
multiplayer
everywhere.
is still a work in progress. It's funny. There's a lot of features that I want to add in multiplayer to like be able to troll your friends and stuff.
I love it.
And it sounds like this one's creeping up the like priority list.
How would that not make someone barf though?
You'd be surprised.
I've done way
Um,
worse than being shot out of a cannon in VR.
Okay. I mean, I'd try it, but it's like that one's like not moving, maybe in a dark tube to instantly like bright light moving, like, and then maybe hit a wall. It's usually like it leaves you do that and I'll like hit it and bank straight up in the air for like 30, 40 feet and like, Vincent better bounce.
No, again, this is the kind of crap we gotta test out. But like, I mean, one time I accidentally turned on light speed on the boat, and like, like literally, I put up the anchor and it was just like. I was in the headset, just like whoa,
The light
but it didn't
turning
make me
red.
sick. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
That is it weird that I'm like, I want to try that.
maybe I'll make that an Easter egg. That's like how you escape the world. Is like you have to go light speed through the ice wall or something. Who knows?
I need a wife beater and a nitrous button on my boat.
Maybe you got to make an extra special like flammable grog and pour it near your rudder and shit. Then you go off the curve of the planet and you go back to Valinor where the elves came from. And boom, just right off. And the achievement's called Into the West. That'd be great.
That'd be epic. Oh my gosh. Too good. Too
It would
good.
be epic.
I'm just imagining right now making an island that has a ramp on it that just like if you hit it just right, it'll just send you over.
A semi-truck brake failure stopping ramp.
Zoom.
That could be a great first update, airships. Like
But
Ladies
now
and
what you're
gentlemen, and this is where scope creep comes in.
yeah, right? It's the only way to get
Priorities.
into a fortress. You'd be like, I'm going to waste my whole boat.
Waste your whole boat, get super rich, no way to get home, but you're rich for 20 seconds.
Big
Yeehaw
screenshot.
your way in there. Screenshot. End the night. See you tomorrow. Oh, adding that to my list of ideas. Oh yeah. So
It has been
multiplayer.
It has been almost an hour. Is there anything like we don't have to stop? But is there anything you want to cover quick before we might have to?
Any questions for me, PJ, before we get out of here? Whatever.
Not knowing what you guys have talked about, I don't, is there like, do you have like a window for multiplayer? Or are you still very early on and no idea?
Yeah. So I've been talking with a lot of like companies. I got a couple of like deals that I can't talk about.
Nice.
But I'm really hoping one of those goes through because if it does, multiplayer is going to happen a lot faster. But right now, kind of the goal is if I can get 5,000 downloads before Christmas or like the end of the year, that'll keep me alive for a whole nother year, and I can at least prototype it out, and that'll definitely give me enough time to find like a publisher or more funding or whatever.
I have access to a data center with about 5,000 computers. I'm gonna go make that happen.
Yeah,
5,000 copies.
5,000 copies coming right in. Yeah, I mean we're already at like 3,500, so like we're getting close. Like
That's awesome.
we're definitely we're getting downloads. Like it's just, but like yeah, like to make this happen way quicker, I'm gonna need like another team to help me get there, or the same team if we can work out a deal with them. But anyway, so like development on multiplayer starts January 2023. That's when I'm gonna start working on it. Regardless, I'm super excited about it. Like I've been like restraining myself from just like starting to prototype multiplayer because like I have to port onto some other platforms and stuff out of contractual obligation, you know. So it's like, don't do anything until you've done what's gonna give you money, right? So
Yeah, I can imagine how hard that is.
no,
As-
it's like a curse.
Yeah, there's my cat screaming. Have you heard, like, is anyone from Microsoft or Rare or anyone from that Sea of Thieves group like approached you and said anything? Or I'm assuming not, but sometimes that happens. Have you heard anything from those guys?
No, nothing as far as like, no, not really. I mean, like, they don't have much to worry about. Like, they have millions of players. I have like
Yeah.
a couple hundred, you know, like,
Yeah.
they don't have much to worry about. But
So
yeah,
that just gives you the green light to keep going and borrowing.
well, I mean, that's kind of the beautiful thing about like game development is like every game rips and tears from somewhere else. And like
Yeah.
the way that copyright law is set up with code and stuff, like you can't super get in trouble. Obviously, like if you make like an exact replica of the game and call it Ocean of Robbers, you're gonna get in trouble,
Yeah.
right? But like,
Or a sea of trees and you're all like wooden people. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't.
But
I wouldn't. Want.
we're
They can't
we're,
copyright
we're
pirate games. So
yeah, like you can't say like, oh, we are the only open world pirate game that'll ever exist. That's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Funny joke,
So-
but no.
from the year ago when we talked to you, like you were just kind of like starting out, and it seems like you've kept the same energy. So I'm happy to see that. How has your personal life or just your work-life balance changed? Is it kind of the same, or is it kind of gotten out a little out of control and you're reining things back in, or is everything good?
It was pretty nutty for a little while there. Like we were trying to get to early access, right? That was like my contractual obligation with the company that I had like gotten funding to like help me get to where we're at. And so like we were working late nights every single night. We were just really, really pushing hard to try to get to like early access. And there was like a 2-month period where like I wasn't getting home till like, you know, like midnight or like 1 a.m. from being down in the office. But now like it's a lot better because now I'm just working from home in my own office, and it's like, you know, I've got my whole computer set up and everything here, and I can just do everything I need to from home, which has been super, super great. So like, yes, it was absolute hell for a little while. But now it's I feel pretty good where I'm at right now. So
Do you guys hear that? The passion, the love. Do you hear that? Buy the goddamn game.
are we streaming video still?
We're not streaming because I wasn't sure with my my issues what was going to happen, but this will be up on YouTube shortly.
Okay. We are video.
Hey, YouTube.
Okay. They could see us waving with our hands early.
Yep.
Well, they only get
I
to
saw you
experience my
guys
one
on my
pill.
screen. You're just like going like this. I'm like, are they even talking? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I know what happens when Wookiee sits in a room by himself. I don't know what happens with you, but it gets weird. So I was kind of concerned.
No, I only have one pill, so I can't do too much damage.
I got a whole.
I'm not
bottle.
even going to ask.
His other hand's on
Yeah.
the table, and you were worried about me.
Oh man.
If I was alone in my room, I'd just be making another.
The character.
Finally, nobody's here. I better make another pen.
Better sacrifice another 10,000 souls.
Well, I'm sorry I missed most of our chat, but I'm glad I got to pop in anyway.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep you if you want to work till midnight or something. So
No, if you guys
But-
have any last questions, like let's hit them up.
I'm serious.
I don't.
Like
He's gonna gush
The-
again. I'm trying.
the
not to.
game is looking awesome. I love it. Like it's hard for me, like a game like this, because I appreciate early access and I know there's reasons for it, but I try to check in on games and then save the most of the playtime for like when they release.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get sick of a game before like all the good
Yeah.
stuff's out there. But I have a hard time not hopping in here and just running around on a raft and killing people. So it's hard. But I mean, I have so much fun in there by myself. I can't wait to share that fun. But
Yeah, we're hoping for next year's podcast roundup. We'll be on a multiplayer ship. We'll just
Sweet.
bring you guys into the game. We're gonna shoot
Yeah.
Wookiee out of a cannon, or go light
And
speed.
then
We'll
hit
all
light
experience
speed.
light speed together.
Oh my god.
You hear him throw up, and you hear me scream like a child.
And then the podcast will just cut off. That'll be how it ends. Light speed.
Just like Back to the Future. We're gonna we'll have to have
Oh, so-
DJ like stand on the beach and film that. Is the planet round? You just see it come back. You check your watch. Just
I'm gonna probably put way too much time into making it round just for that one event.
you gotta launch
That
off
was a
that
question of mine. World size, like how many? I don't know how you have it mapped out. Like, is it so many islands, or is it just such a certain size, or?
So, how did I measure this? So there's like 137 islands, and they're
Jesus.
mapped. They're like clustered into about 17 like clusters. So like per island cluster, you get like 5 to 10 islands that are close enough together you can like pretty much just like walk between them. So it's like a pretty big world size. We basically tried to make it as big as we could without getting there. Unity has this problem where if you start getting too big, you run into floating point precision errors, which is like the float, which like stores like numbers with decimals, isn't accurate enough to make the calculations it needs to. So it starts doing some wonky stuff. And so, like, we basically made it as big as we could without trying to address that, because you have to do like quite a bit of wizardry to like make that work and happen. So, like, it takes you about, if you're to sail from like one ice wall to the other, because it's a giant circle, right? If you pull out your map, it's just a giant circle. If you were to go to one ice wall and sail all the way to the other, it would probably take you about like a half hour to 45 minutes to sail like from
Wow.
one side to the other.
Because
It's pretty
those-
big.
yeah, the ships move. It might just feel like it, but it seems like they move pretty quick. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
like-
On
crazy.
the
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Island, some dude like the longest, however he could slice it, he just tried to walk on foot and it took him like 30-35 minutes. And that's a huge ass map. So that kind
Mhm.
of set the bar. If you can cross your whole world and it takes you a half hour or more, that's
Yeah.
big enough.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once we start testing multiplayer. Like, I'm curious how much fuller it will feel with other crews, like sailing around and stuff, and like how often people run into each other. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just really excited to like test multiplayer because of stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know. But yeah, so pretty big world. I want to go bigger even, like, but again, scope creep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I found a set of islands, and I think I was following one of the treasure maps because it was like I had to like look under a waterfall, and there's a couple waterfalls, and there's this big freaking ship just kind of sailing around. Maybe there's two of them, and like you had to get like sneak in between, and then there were pirates everywhere. Like, it was awesome. And I remember I got the treasure and a couple other things, and I still had the raft. Like, this was early on. And I remember getting on that raft, and that thing, like that huge ship, which is very intimidating in VR, when you're on this little raft, just chasing the hell out of me for like 10 minutes. And I'm like weaving around islands and stuff, and he's just back there shooting cannons at me. I'm like, I'm going to die. I finally made it. He finally said, fuck it with that little guy, but it was intimidating as hell.
Yeah, I love the naval combat. I feel like that's one of the things that we've just totally nailed on the head was naval combat. And like, I've got so many cool ideas for expanding on it. Like,
Nice.
one of the ones that I'm really excited about is I really want to figure out how to do like boarding ships, right? So you'll like disable a ship by shooting down like its mast or something, and then you'll be able to like jump on and like grab all their loot and then jump back off, like stuff like that. So Cool stuff is coming. Cool stuff is coming very soon.
You
That's
tie them
awesome.
all up in the bottom and then settle it.
Exactly.
The only other question I had was something the PJ told me, or I saw on the Discord, was that you tried to have like AI crew members and you went with voice command because it was easier or something like that.
Yeah. So, like originally, a big part of the game was going to be like this crew that you're going to be able to like hire, and it would just like make running your ship easier because you're going to be able to like point at a guy and then say like, "Go man the cannon," and then it would just
Mhm.
like have like this smart cannon basically, or like and we just like it was just kind of like one of those budget things. It was like, okay, like we don't have the budget for this. I have all the systems in place to do that still. So it's probably something I'll come back to. But voice commands have turned into like kind of an incredible feature in the game.
I
And a lot of
freaking
people,
There's a
love
lot of
them.
games with that in VR.
yeah,
I've
like
loved voice
I
commands forever.
we literally like we were just like let's experiment with voice commands. Like one day we were just like, well, let's just see if we can get them working. And so like the lead dev that I was working with, he spent like an afternoon trying to get something super simple working. And he came back to me. He was like, "Dude, just try this." And so like I put on the headset, and he's like, "Just say fire the cannon," And so I said it, and the cannon fired. I was like, "We're going with that. Like, we're doing
Yeah,
that."
Yeah.
I was having so much fun on my little raft, like stopping and dropping anchor, raising anchor, taking off. I was taking out ships much larger than myself with because of the cannon, and I was speeding, like dodging their shit. Like, oh, it's so fun. Like those voice commands are like, you wouldn't
And-
think in a VR game with of this magnitude of pirates and all that'd be one of my favorite things, but it is. Like, it's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Like you said, if you get all the systems in place, if sometime you drop in like a character, just do kind of having animations that make it feel like he's doing that, well, even if it's just fake, that would just be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't
That's
even
kind of what
notice
I'm
if you're
thinking.
streaming.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like I'll just make it so that when the voice command triggers, like the guy will walk over on your ship to like where you need to be. Then that alone will feel even cooler.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, voice commands are cool. They've opened up like a lot of possibilities with like other features too. Like we could totally make it so that like trying to open a treasure chest, you have to solve a riddle and literally say the answer to the riddle.
That's
For it
freaking
to open.
awesome.
So like we're experimenting with some cool things, and by we I mean me. Like I'm experimenting.
And I
So-
love in your Discord when you're like you design things, and you do this a lot, which I'm kind of shocked by. I'm in a lot of freaking Discords and I don't see this that often. You're like, hey, here's 10 pairs of gloves. Which ones do you guys think? And then you kind of narrow it down, or hey, here's some enemies. Which ones do you guys think? Like it's like constant, and it's awesome because it's like, I mean, they're all really cool, but it's like I definitely like that one, and you can just get way quicker feedback and throw it in. But I think that's just really neat to see as a player, like having some at least an opinion and saying, hey, I like that, or I think that's really neat.
Yeah, it's something that I try really hard to do because I feel like there's just way too many companies who just kind of say, "Here's my game, like it," instead of like trying to get like the feedback. And like because I contracted like a professional company with people who have like actually worked in games, like my resume didn't really speak for itself very often. And so they were like, no, that's like not how you do it. Like it's really interesting because game development and VR game development are actually two very similar but different ballparks, And so like I consider myself a VR game expert, and a lot of the guys that I was working with are game experts for sure. And we butted heads a lot on a couple of things because I was like, look, I'm telling you, this is gonna work better in VR. They're like, no way. And then I would just put it on the Discord silently and be like, look, here's what the community's saying. Like, you have to listen to me now.
Yeah, that's smart.
But I love getting the community feedback because like I want to know, like I'm making this game not for like, I mean, I enjoy it obviously, but I'm making this for the VR community. And if I make something they don't like, it's only going to be because I didn't get enough feedback doing like the development, So I try to be super open with everything because it keeps people engaged. It keeps people like just loving every bit of it. And like they get invested too. Like I have one guy who on a live stream, he was like, what if we put a rubber duck somewhere on the map? And I was like, yes, we're doing that. And now every time you jump into the map, there's a rubber duck somewhere in the world. And if you find it and shoot it, it's worth like 50,000 points. So like,
That's awesome.
go find the rubber duck, people. Like, it's so fun. But that was an idea that like I just heard from one of my community members, and it's like
Yeah.
a super fun little thing that we have in the game now, you know. So like I appreciate my community and I'm making it for them, and so like I try to communicate with them as much as I possibly can.
Is the rubber duck on land, or is it could it be just randomly floating in
It's
the
in the
ocean?
sea. It's always in the ocean. You have to sail
Just
around to find
floating
it.
somewhere?
Mhm. It's
That's
kind of funny when you come upon it. Because people don't realize it's in the game, and they'll just be sailing, and they're like, "Wait, what is that?" And most
then
people
Everyone's
surprisingly just
initial
shoot it.
reaction should be to shoot it. I mean,
That's-
Come on.
Yep. They shoot it, and they're like, "Holy crap, that's worth so much money!" And you're like, "Yep, you're
I
welcome."
wouldn't have known to shoot it. I would have been like, "Look at that, that's funny." And then 20 minutes later, wait, I probably should have shot it. Like we did a
So-
VR meta movie thing, and I didn't even know you could get like trophy, and there was one for like fun and rubber duckies or something like that, and like somebody opens their inventory near the end of the thing, and then like he just like the rubber ducky in there because he'd already done it, and I was like, that's a weird duck, and then we got a trophy or something like that happened. I was like, didn't know.
Now you
I saw it
know.
and I was like, well, that's weird, but it felt like looking in somebody's pocket because it was in VR. I'm like, it's not my stuff.
Yeah.
I should have shot her wallet.
So,
Good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to our next check-in. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a year from now.
yeah. When I have big news, I'll come chat again. We'll see where we're at.
I'll take that day off so I don't get distracted with work.
Oh yeah, big stuff is coming. Big stuff is coming for us. Hopefully I'll be able to actually talk about some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes soon. But
Yeah.
If you're
just keep a
dying to
wary
get
eye
it
on the
out,
horizon.
or, yeah, if you're dying to get it out and you got time to come back as soon as you can, feel free. I mean,
Yeah.
make a second
No.
episode that week for
No, it'll be. We'll see. I'm sure if one of these things ends up happening or going through, like I'm sure my big mouth will let loose on Discord or something. So
Yeah.
as you can see from the Discord, I'm not good at holding back. I just release everything.
It's funny because, like I said, I'm in I don't know how many, but it's a lot of Discords. And when I get a message and I go there and it's something nonsense, I get kind of irate, like, God damn it. But yours are
Mhm.
always like, oh, that's really cool. And it's always neat, like updates and stuff. So I appreciate that. Because I'm always like, what's this what's this notification? I'm ready to get mad. And it's like, oh, cool, look at that weapon.
Nice. I'll be like,
Yeah,
I
we're-
need to mute notifications when that happens, but not on your server.
Yeah.
Yep, my server's worth it.
Well, I'm one of those weird people, like, I have notifications off, but if there's like a message, like it still has that pop-up thing on it, and I have to like clear it.
No,
It's
Oh.
like those freaking games.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I got a few of those too. Oh.
I don't want to tell you. I think I have like 3 of them. They're like 999 or 49. I'm that way too, and I have to be like, if you're going to look at it, you need to leave that server because obviously you're not reading it. But I just don't do either one, and it's a stress point because I have to check first. And yeah, my Chrome on my Android phone, when you have like 2 tabs and it's like, oh, tab 2, and it's got a 2. Mine has a smiley face. I don't know why. I can't stop it, but whatever. Constant stress point.
Google's just smiling at you.
99 smileys.
it's one way to
Oh.
bypass the third digit.
Yeah, just can't fit it. Haven't had
Smile.
an old text emoji.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
All right, man. Well,
It's
it's
been a
great
blast.
to catch up, and Like it looked like you guys were having fun, so I was glad to see that.
We were having a grand old time.
I'm sitting here yelling at people on the phone, and I see you guys like, woo! I'm like, "Fuckers."
There was a point where we could hear you. Did you see my chat?
I finally saw that. I'm like, God damn it! But it was funny because he like machine gunned, trying to
I
get
was
my
like trying to get
attention.
your
Like,
phone to buzz while Garrett was talking. I'm like, "Stop." You couldn't really hear you, but
Sorry.
sometimes he'd be like, "It's okay." Phone. I was like, PJ, don't say anything sensitive.
oh man, my wiener's out again.
Where do you work?
I was gonna say this is an interesting place to work.
Interesting. Such a positive person. Interesting. Such a brave use of color. Yeah. Well, keep up the good work, sir. We'll be watching.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
guys. I appreciate you letting me come on.
yeah.
Always fun to talk to
Anyone
y'all.
Yeah.
Watching, listening, the links to all your links will be in the show notes on the video and the audio. Check out the game. Is there still a demo out there? Am I
Yeah,
right in that?
there's a free
There's
demo.
a demo. You can't. There's no excuse not to try it and fall in love.
Can't go wrong.
It's free.
But yeah,
Just be like me. Buy the damn thing and then don't log in. And log
Just
in.
remember-
There's another Saturday.
Yeah. Just remember, 5,000 downloads and multiplayer is for sure guaranteed. At least some version of it. So we're close.
You
Let's get
right
there.
there watching. If we don't get multiplayer quicker, it's because you. It's your fucking fault.
the audio people can't hear you point at the camera.
Audio people, I was aggressively pointing at our camera placeholder that looked like Fender.
To me, it looked like you're flipping the audio people off,
With 2 pills. It's
and
incredible.
he's still doing it.
One for you.
And now it's a
one
penis.
for you. Suck it. Audio people, consider yourselves lucky. You just missed it. And clearly,
I'll try to get a screenshot. All right, man. We won't keep you for our nonsense. Great to have you. I can't wait to play more.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I will catch you guys on the next one. See
Be
you.
good
man.
to your last pill.
wore out my other one. That was Garrett from, I forgot the name of the company, Red 119?
Yeah.
From Sale VR. Red something 119. Yeah. Check out the Discord. Download his game. I mean, it. Honestly, the only thing keeping me in it is I will burn myself out before that player gets added.
Nope.
I hurry up and burn myself out, and I give myself enough time, and then multiplayer comes out. Maybe that should have been what I did, but it didn't.
That'll be your
But I was
second
gushing
win.
over. Yeah, I was gushing over like. And Sea of Thieves is good, but like we don't play it that much, and it's fun. The combat gets a little rough to me at times, but just the one clip in this trailer where somebody blasts the guy in the face and the coins come out, the death animation.
Yeah.
Like that alone makes me want to go into the game. The combat from Sea of Thieves, even from like day one and stuff, it doesn't keep me in the game. But that was like, oh, that feels the people instead of the weird skeletons. Makes so much more sense.
Yeah, there's different enemies, and again, I was sailing around on my raft when I was just first hopping in, and I didn't even know how to do anything. There was all these little guys, and then there was this big guy on there, and he was like, they chased me back onto my raft, so I went out far enough to where they couldn't get me, and I turned around and I started blasting them with a cannon. But yeah, you can do a lot of fun stuff
Yeah,
aside
that's
from play the actual game, but like
That's what he was
It
saying.
has
He
the
just wanted-
same-
yeah.
yeah, it has the
go.
same openness. Open, is that a word? Openness as
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, and to let you be creative with how you handle things and what you do and all that. And I like that. So it's cool.
I guess I got to go sail around for 4 hours looking for a goddamn rubber duck.
I mean, kudos to that streamer because it's like, I'm not saying what happened in this game, but some games are like, I want to be in there, but I'm out of stuff to do. That's what kind of happened with your
Mhm.
Sea of Thieves for us. And it's like, well, you always can just sail on and enjoy the game and hunt the rubber ducky.
Yeah, and I was like, I even told him about Sea of Thieves. I got to the point where like we jump in and fifth Kraken. Like I can't even just
Yeah.
like sail around. I would just totally do that if it was just me. I would just be sailing the boat because it's very cool and relaxing. Kraken,
Yeah.
like fuck.
I have to log off. God damn it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though I didn't have pockets full, it's just annoying to hit. Like once, like the fear and the awesomeness and the scale and the majesty is gone if it happens 5 times in one sitting.
Then it's just annoying. And it's like, it's a
Yeah.
pain instead of an excitement.
It's an joyful fight, like all enjoyful. Now is that a word? I don't know.
It is now.
The joyful, enjoyable fight. And then the second one, you're like, we don't have any cannonballs left. We don't got
Yeah.
any bananas. Our ship's leaking. Like, yeah.
Oh, and now a ghost ship's attacking us too. Sweet.
Yeah.
Come on, Rare. You're better than that.
Nah, it's fun.
I think they did kind of tone those things down because the last time we played it, a lot of that didn't happen. So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stepping in and covering my ass. Can't wait to listen to what I missed.
It was fun. It was
Cool.
fun. Have we officially ended? Have we said goodbye? Thanks everyone for
Not
listening.
yet.
See you next time. Once again, that is PJ. I'm Wookie.
You just did.
It's over your verdict. Have a good night. Have a good night.